There's a moment in nearly every adult child's life that no one prepares you for. It's not a sudden crisis or anything. It's much quieter. It's this gradual realization that I've come to call the slow reveal.
That's a perfect way to describe it, Marcus.
Yeah.
It's not one big event. With my own mother, I remember it was when she started, making excuses not to drive at night.
Right.
This woman who had fearlessly driven us everywhere as kids was quietly acknowledging a new vulnerability.
Exactly. For me, with my father, it was his inability to follow the baseball statistics for his favorite team. I mean, this was something that had been second nature to him for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
It was a small thing, but it felt like a crack in the foundation of the man I'd always known. And with that reveal comes a very specific and complicated emotion.
Anticipatory grief.
Yes.
It's that strange, painful process of mourning the loss of the parent-child dynamic you've always known, even while your parents are right there in front of you.
Exactly. And recognizing those signs is one thing.
Right.
Acting on them, that's a completely different challenge. I made the classic mistake at first. I sat my father down at his kitchen table, surrounded by unpaid bills, and I essentially presented him with a checklist of my concerns. And he just shut down.
Of course he did, because you, with the best of intentions, were presenting him as a problem to be solved.
Right.
And we've seen in so many families, the key isn't confrontation, it's collaboration.
It took me months to learn that lesson. The real breakthrough came much later. He was struggling to remember something, and instead of jumping in with the answer, I just said, that must be so infuriating when you can't remember something you've known your whole life.
Wow.
He looked at me, and with so much vulnerability, he just said, it's getting worse, isn't it?
That moment of validation.
Yes.
That is everything.
Yes.
It gave him the space and the safety to name his own reality. I've heard a wonderful technique from a social worker called the future story approach.
Oh?
You ask, Dad, if something were to happen, what would you want your days to look like? It's about planning with them, not pointing out their deficits.
That's brilliant.
And these conversations are already so delicate.
They are.
But they get infinitely more complicated for those of us in the sandwich generation.
Right.
You're trying to have these gentle, patient talks with your parents while your own kids need you just as urgently.
It is emotional whiplash.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I have this vivid memory of sitting in a hospital waiting room while my father was having medication issues, and I was on my phone texting my teenage daughter relationship advice.
Oh, I can imagine.
In that moment, I just felt like I was failing both of them.
And it's our instinct, right, to shield our kids from that stress.
Totally.
But what I found is that the families who navigate this most successfully are the ones who involve the younger generation in age-appropriate ways.
Yes, a teenager can become the official tech support for a telehealth call, or they can help research care options online. It builds such profound empathy.
It does.
They see that loving someone sometimes means making choices that feel heartbreaking, but are ultimately the most caring thing you can do.
Right. They learn what family responsibility truly looks like in action. But what about the families where there are no other siblings? As an only child, I've lived what I call the weight of sole responsibility. Every single decision, every late night call from a doctor, it's all on you. There's no one to second guess you, which is clarifying in a way, but also there's no one to share that immense burden.
And that's where the idea of building a chosen family becomes such a lifeline.
Absolutely.
The caregivers I've interviewed who are only children, they often become accidental experts just out of necessity.
Yeah.
But they thrive when they intentionally build a support network. Friends who knew them before this chapter, professionals they can trust, and support groups of people who just get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had to learn that asking for help wasn't me admitting failure. It was an act of wisdom.
Right.
It was me recognizing that I could not be everything to my parents while still being a husband, a father, and, myself.
That is the core message, isn't it?
I think so.
This transition isn't about you becoming your parents' parent. It's about becoming their advocate, their safety net. It's about helping them live their lives as fully and with as much dignity as possible within their new reality.
Exactly. The journey is hard. There's no doubt about it.
It is.
But what I want people to know is that there are also these unexpected, profound moments of connection and the deep, quiet satisfaction of knowing you showed up when it mattered most.
So here's a question we'd like you, the listener, to think about.
Mm-hmm.
What is one small, subtle sign you've noticed in your own family's slow reveal? And what is one gentle question you could ask this week to begin the conversation?